Okay, people, it's not quite the weekend yet, but we got a couple of nice days. Not supposed to rain, or snow, which should be this time of year. But it's supposed to be in the 50s for the next couple of days. So I'm going to get this thing in the air, try to hook the brake lines back up, and that'll help when we get the engine running. It being a stick shift, I'd really like to have at least something of a brake, and we'll see what it looks like underneath after all the welding I've done. So, alley ups, we're gonna go up. Okay, let's take a look underneath. It's just amazing that these tires still hold air. I have not added air in this since I've brought it home. So low, they're low, a couple of them. They're not flat. There's no way today's tires would last 40 years. Plus, or minus a few. But there's no way. There wouldn't be anything left of them. But underneath we go. Okay, not a lot of light under here, but new floor. New floor. New floor. Yeah, looking good. Frame's solid. It's amazing at how solid this frame is. When I picked it up, it was sitting in grass for years. Years and years. And the frame isn't even flaky. I mean, it's solid, absolutely solid, which is completely amazing. Of course, front diff leaks. Looks like the engine rear main could be leaking. Engine front main, man, maybe not. Maybe just the oil pan. Lots of oil coming from above. So that tells me that plate on the side of the block is probably leaking. And these transfer cases, I would imagine, yep, these transfer cases always leak. So, looks like it's a great start. I got a long ways to go. I got a lot of welding to do from down here too. I'm just noticing. You gotta bolt the other body mount on to the floor. Oil, I've never changed an oil filter like this before. Interesting. And there's a glass bulb right here. That's got a stone filter in it, and that's the filter for the gas for the engine. The glass bulb, just like the old International tractor set. And there's no wire hooked to the oil pressure gauge sensor. And here we are. This is the brake line. That's already been patched a couple of times. Goes back here. Looks fine. Just need to put in a patch between there and there. And I know it was leaking up here a little. I'll have to find it. I think it was where it went across. I'm sorry if you guys can't see any of this. It's kind of dusk out after work. And the clouds are out. It's Michigan. Never really get a sunny day. There's where it's broke. I know you can't see it, but it's broke right at the fitting to the rubber line. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, we'll plug that one off for now. Alright, looks like it's got a Dana 27A stamped right on it. On the front, which makes me sad. But it's supposed to have a Dana 44 rear. If any of you guys know what a old Dana 44 looks like. You probably tell more than I can. Looks like the drum brake seal or rear axle seal could be leaking oil past the drums. I'm sure there'll be plenty of mechanical work to do on this. I already got to replace the rear leaf springs. This one's actually broken right here. It used to be a plow vehicle. Somebody sent it a little too hard, and that made the shackle fold up. So that's why this axle so far displaced forward. It's because it is all out of whack down here. Shock's destroyed. We're gonna get a whole lift kit, shock, springs, everything included, and go through this whole rear. I notice, even though it says it's a Dana 44, it doesn't look anything like the one in my Gladiator, so I'm sure it's not that strong. So we're gonna have to watch what size tire we put on this. But it's a good view of the underneath. That's the plow mount. It's gotta go. And a screwdriver that actually stayed along for the ride. Huh. Oh, there's the broken wire for the fuel or the oil pressure. Gonna fix that right away. Nice. Looks like it's doing well under here. So the biggest thing was when I picked it up and seen that this frame was that solid. I mean, that solid everywhere. I knew it was a keeper. Absolutely. Dead on solid. You're not poking the holes in it. So, alright. Well, I'm going to leave this overnight. Tomorrow, as soon as I get home from work, I'm going to dig into the fuel line. I need that to go up top. Get it in and out of the garage for now. And we may do a disc brake conversion on this later. Depends on the funds that are left after the body's done. And the tires and wheels and everything else. I don't know if I have to change the engine yet. We'll figure all that out together. Okay, we're back out here. It's another weekend on the Scout. I know we left off with the Scout on the hoist, and actually I didn't get much done on the hoist because an unpredicted rain came through. So I caught it before the Scout got wet, but I didn't get much done on the hoist. I got it inside. I had it up on the hoist. I did run the fuel line from the pump. So I do have a fuel line now hooked up to the fuel pump. I also took the coil off after I got it back here in the garage. This had a resistor coil on it. I like going with the resistorless coil. I don't know if anybody else has ever had problems with the resistor coils, but it seems like every time I go off-roading and I get the resistor wet, it's done. It just quits, and you'll have to change the resistor. So I like the internal, no resistors needed coil, so I'm going to change that out. I did put a brand new fan belt on it, and I took the coil mount bracket, and I put a couple of nut rivets in it, so that I didn't have to try to fumble around holding the nut on the back side of it. That should be fine. That will help in future changes. So that's where we are. I didn't get much done on it. I'm going to put a coil on it. We're going to try to get it to run. This thing needs to run. I might even throw some water in the radiator and run it for a little while if it'll run. So here we go. Time to change the coil. Negative side on the coil goes to the points. Positive goes to power. Also, I did, waiting for that coil to come in, is I installed a toggle switch. It's a lighted toggle switch. Red for off, green for on. I don't have any power to it right now because the battery's disconnected. But that's how it is. Hopefully, this should fire right up, actually. It's only been about 3 weeks, 4 weeks since we started it on starting fluid, so I took that glass bowl apart, cleaned it out. I did a couple things. I just have such a limited amount of time after work before it gets dark that I didn't even have time to break out a camera because the rain was coming. So, right here, gas can, be very careful. I turned my heater off so it won't be kicking on. And that's, hopefully it'll be safe. Got a little primed up there. Okay, this is very low, but it's got 90 octane recreational fuel in it, and some what do you call that stuff? Marvel's Mystery Oil. I like to lube up that top half a little bit when we can get it to run. And here's how that light looks with the battery hooked up. Red, green, red. Kind of cool. Let's see if this thing runs. Get some more in there. That just happened. It's in gear, and it's not supposed to be. So that means the 4-wheel drive works. Which shifter makes it 2-wheel drive? I don't know. We'll put it in neutral. Interesting. Let's see if any more catastrophes happen. Battery is low. Choke on. Come on, come on. Just to eliminate the coil, I'll just hook up the other one. It did run on the other one. Really? Maybe it's fluid. Okay, I heard once from an old timer, if you pull the boots off the spark plugs and just let them sit there, that it'll force it to spark. We'll see. It was wanting to. Okay, try some more. Change the spark plugs. Well, well, well. It actually runs pretty good. Getting better. Back tire spinning. Got jacked up off the ground, both of them. We'll let it sit for a couple of minutes. I'll probably go have lunch and then come back and we'll throw some water in it and see how long it'll run for. So I didn't eat lunch, but I did fill it up with water. I'm not putting antifreeze in it because it's going to leak, and it's going to leak all over my garage, and I have a cat that lives in here to keep the mice down. And I have it heated out here so it never freezes. So I just used water. Probably should open the garage door. Can't get the clutch to disengage. I think it's rusted to the flywheel. So I got a little issue there. I just want to make sure the engine holds water. Water pump definitely works, it's circulating big time. Oh my goodness, the speedometer works so that 40,000 miles may actually be 40,000 miles, because trying to see if the transmission and clutch will warm up and disengage. Warm. Feels like there might not be a thermostat or it's stuck, but you can definitely see the movement in there. It's flowing, it's not bubbling, which is a good sign. I just put plain old clean water in there and it doesn't look so clean anymore, so maybe we're going to flush it out too. I do have some vinegar I could throw in there, but I don't really want to cause a problem that might not be there. I'm going to let it run for about 10-15 minutes. Looks like it might be overcharging. We'll turn this off so we don't hurt the battery pack. And it looks like my battery's getting low, so I'll let it run for 10-15 minutes to change out this battery. Okay, it's been at least 5 minutes. Water's nice and warm in the radiator. It's not burning my finger, but It's warm, so I'm gonna give it a break. It runs, it's a runner. I'm giving up for this weekend. That was a little more than I thought it was gonna be actually, but it's running, it's charging. The transmission works. The rear axle doesn't seem to be doing anything weird. I just can't get it to stop pulling. The clutch is not working, so that's going to take some time underneath it. I might even have to pull the transfer case. And if I have to pull the transfer case, it'll get a new rear main seal. Maybe new tranny seals. So far I haven't seen enough wrong with this engine to have to pull it yet. So you guys have a great week. I'll be back next weekend. I'll decide what we're doing. I don't know if I'll go with a new radiator or if we'll start doing body work again. Every weekend we get this much closer to having a finished product, and I am ecstatic on where we are. And just, I think we've got 5 or 6 videos out now, maybe a few more, and this is how far we've come with this. We're to the point to where we're going to spread mud, spread mud, and do mechanicals. So we're at a good point.